This is my partner, Mission Figs. We're here to ask the tough questions.
And that is the face that says, oh, so you're not just gonna give me the presidency?
Don't get me wrong.
Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall.
Again.
So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw was about 2%. And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
But you're agreeing to a bill
on.
that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it.
Liar!
She had a big go at Donald Trump because he decided not to come to this one, and she made a big deal out of that. Of course, he'd simply decided not to come because A, he doesn't need to. He's doing very handsomely in the polls without it. And B, CNN, not a friendly audience for the Trump campaign.
All I have to say is this: who did the Border Patrol endorsement?
This November, we have a choice to make. Continue the chaos. Allow the criminal cartels to control the border, to allow drugs and fentanyl across our country, or put an end to it once and for all.
People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is the most important point that can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on it? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
If you're not going to build the wall and you're telling me you're going to strengthen the border, you're going to keep it open and still strengthen it?
Yep!
Said during that town hall, she believes they've handled the border correctly. CNN pressed her on it. Would you have done anything different? Do you regret anything? And she said, quote, I think we did the right thing.
Now, wait a minute, that she's handling it correctly?
Correct.
She said that?
She said that. She said, quote, I think we did the right thing.
We allowed 21 million people in. We allowed 13,099 murderers. We allowed mental institutions from all over the world. If she said that, look, she's a grossly incompetent person. And if she said that, they had the worst border in history.
He also went on to publicly shame Kamala Harris's town hall during a rally in Tempe, Arizona.
She's so bad. I watched last night. I don't watch CNN often, it's fake news, but I watched last night. Oh, oops, their camera just went off. I watched last night, she did a town hall. Honestly, it was pathetic. It was pathetic. There's never been anything like that. We can't let it happen. We can't. That's why you have to get everyone saying how well we're doing. You still get out. The people that haven't voted, get out and vote. We can't take a chance. We can't take a chance on this disaster continuing because we won't have a country left if it does.
Surprisingly, both social media and mainstream media had similar reactions to the town hall, with even Kamala Harris's greatest allies slamming her performance.
Republicans would take another hour of Kamala Harris. We'd just press play, let her keep going. We'd pay for another hour to let her keep not answering the questions.
This man is swallowing spit as if a monster is about to bite him and he's cornered in a corner.
I think Anderson's asking her, well, why haven't you done it? You've been there for 4 years. Why have you done any of this? And the word salad answer she gave to that was just mind-boggling. I mean, it's blown up the internet, her answer to that question. I think the things that are troubling for people were her responses to You know, Van said about what you're going to do to reduce costs when they asked her at the beginning. You know, we're hurting economically. She said, I'm going to prosecute corporations. Right? That's not going to lower costs. How are you going to make things better for me? I'm going to prosecute people. Trump bad is not a message that's going to get her elected.
What weaknesses do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect, so let's start there. And I think that perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength, is I really do value having a team of very smart people around me who bring to my decision-making process different perspectives. My team will tell you, I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires on it.
There we go. I have a weakness, but my weakness, is my strength. Gangsta.
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes, and they range from, you know, if you've ever parented a child, you know you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Ladies and gentlemen, this as well. How do you say you want to be well versed at something before you give an answer, and you mention that kids are hard to raise? And I have to find out that multiple times in the town hall, Kamala claimed that she raised and parented children. Her stepkids were 20 and 15 when she married into the family. She did not raise children. She has no idea what raising a child actually means or entails. But now I have to remember, you just said
it's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
You've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done.
This is awesome! This is awesome!
why does all her weaknesses sound like a strength? I don't know, that's wild. I think I know it all, and then I speak too much. Yeah, but what do you mean with that?
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. Thank you, Eric, and you're absolutely right. You know it, I know it, I think most Americans know it. Price of groceries is still too high.
So you admit that inflation is high, and inflation is related to government bad spending without, you're spending more money that you're earning. Well, actually, not your money, your taxpayers' money.
Okay, I'm sorry I'm not poor!
And you also tell us you have the right to spend it on somebody else. For some odd reason, it's only the people that generally vote for you.
She literally took one question and took the opportunity to answer it by explaining why she wasn't going to be very quick or good at answering the questions, the whole purpose of a town hall.
It may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess.
You're a nerd. You need to study it. Then why don't I see a result of a nerd?
I am invincible!
Don't tell me, hey, vote for me, and you will get the result when you oh my God, I'm repeating myself.
2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration
But if
is
it was
low.
that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
You can do that without the Congress if you really want to do it.
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action.
That wasn't the right question. He asked you about 22 or 23. You didn't do it. Was it the right action? And you respond, we're doing it right now. What about all the people that came in and now certain people have unalived by somebody else? Are you going to tell those parents, well, we took the right action? You could at least stem the flow way before and then come with the plan B. But you're like, well, we're not gonna do that. Vote for me again.
Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it?
Why are you talking as if people weren't trying to stop him? It's not like Congress agreed with him. What's even more interesting, I think there was so much obstruction by the Congress with the money and everything that a private crowdfunding was done, and I think they earned like 20 million in 2018 like that. It was wild. Nobody wanted to support him. I even asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT told me there were funding issues, legal challenges, logistic construction challenges, shifting priority design challenge. Oh, but now she is going to fix the wall without fixing the wall. Okay, and I'm going to look like a normal person without putting an eye in my head. Ta-da! I fixed the wall.
American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with? And how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken and it needs to be fixed. And it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border. I will tell you I'm the only person in this race among the two choices that voters have. I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career making sure that our border is secure and that we do not allow criminals in and we don't allow that kind of trafficking to happen and come into our country.
Focused a lot more on Donald Trump, I think it's fair to say, than she did on many specifics in terms of what she would do.
If her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that.
Conservative commentator Piers Morgan also doubled down on the criticism, saying, I watched this whole town hall. It was terrible. Kamala just talks in endless word salad gibberish. When she loses, and she will, the Democrats are going to look so dumb for allowing her to coronate herself as a nominee without any proper contest.
But I just called him. I needed that spiritual kind of connection. I needed that advice. I needed a prayer. And there's a part of the scripture that talks about Esther and a time such as this, and that's what we talked about. And it was very comforting for me. And do
you pray every day?
I do pray every day. I do pray every day, sometimes twice a day.
And here was her answer just days after two guys were evicted from one of her rallies for shouting out, Jesus is Lord.
Jesus is Lord!
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. I grew that is about caring for other people. And that guides a lot of how I think about my work and what is important.
You're going to tell me talking like this is uplifting? How can you talk about uplifting people when you keep comparing your opponent to Hitler? I could even like you if you were consistent, but you don't, because you can't even go to a Joe Rogan podcast, because I'm sure you told him I want to do the podcast pre-recorded.
So this was the moderator at Kamala's Town Hall, and she was asked if the audience can ask questions. This was her answer.
You're not, unfortunately. We have some predetermined questions, and hopefully I'll be able to ask some of the questions that might be in your head. I hope so.
Really? So it's a town hall, but yet they have predetermined questions. Again, this is a town hall. And the same people that are losing their mind about Trump being at McDonald's and it being scripted seem to have no problem with it.
Feel some kinship towards her as a mixed person?
Not personally. I find a lot of her trajectory to not be my brand of woman leader. We've got 3 major international crises going on and someone applying to be commander-in-chief. As a woman, I want to see you do more than, appeal to giggling and having a girl moment on the stage.
But I'm a positive man because I think you actually helped me convince some ladies.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk criollo colombici jam jam. Durlo que ta verde ta welcome.